In the previous video, we looked at two of the most widely used data structures in Swift, array and dictionaries. In this video, we're going to take a look at classes, how to define it, and how the classes are managed in memory in Swift. Classes in Swift, as structs, are general purpose, flexible constructs that become the building blocks of your program's code. We can define properties to store values, methods to provide functionalities, and define its own custom initializers among other things. So, let's begin defining our first class. Defining a class in Swift is just like as we did it for structs, but in this case by using the keyword class instead. Let's define a person class with three properties: first name, last name, and age. The first two are of string type, and the third is an int type. We will now define it with initial values. In case of string, define an empty string, and for the property age, the value to be set as 0. We defined our class person. Hence, we need to define our first instance of the class. The way it is exactly as we did with the struct. But in this case, the classes do not provide a default initializer with the name of all the properties like the struct. We need to use the default initializer instead. Let's do it. We have defined an instance of the class person called person with small case. We can now access or modify its members using the dot notation as we did with structs. Change the value of properties first name, last name, and age with the values Victor, Sigler, and the number 27 for age. Let's see how to declare a method inside the class to modify its members. Create a method to change the value of its first name. Let's call it changeFirstName, and it will be the parameter newName of the type string to change in the instance. Call the new method using the instance created, person. If we put just after the call of the method person dot firstName, we will see the new value of John passed to the function before. In classes, we can define our custom initializers as similar to structs. For example, let's define a new initializer to set the initial values for the properties in the person class. As we define our custom initializer, the default is omitted, just like the one in struct. In case we need to have one, we need to declare it. Define an empty initializer for now, so as to avoid declaring the person instance once again. We are going to define another instance of the class person called another person, using the custom initializer with all the arguments to initialize the members of the class. Put the first name John, last name Doe, and set the age to 25. Voila! We have another instance of the class person using custom initializers. Previously, when we saw structs, we said the struct type are type values. Classes are reference types. Unlike value types, reference types are not copied when they are assigned to a variable or constant, or when they are passed to a function. Let's see it in action. We are going to assign the value of the variable person to the variable another person. Change the value of the property first name using the method declared inside the class, passing the name Joe. If we put after this line another person dot first name, and in the next line person dot first name, we can see both have the same value. This is because, as I said before, classes are reference types. In this video, we learnt what are the classes in Swift, how to declare it, and how they are managed in memory by the compiler. In the next video, we will learn what are the enumerations type in Swift. See you in the next one.